Welcome back to Beards and Brews. Hey, if you haven't already, be sure to subscribe or follow no matter where you're listening. Not only does it help us out, but you'll know exactly when we have another one brewing. Fellas, Earth getting a little weird. How about we get our asses to Mars? This is Total Recall.
Come on. Don't bullshit me. This movie has it all. You're gonna need it now. It's got humor, drama, action. Come on.
Yep, we got another Arnold Schwarzenegger flick. This one with Sharon Stone, who I didn't recognize until she showed her crotch. And this one is directed by our friend Paul Verhoeven, who we've seen a couple of flicks by.
Yeah, that's very true. And you know why you noticed her then, Jan Man? Because you were following your basic instinct.
Oh.
Well, that pun aside, yeah, this is a Paul Verhoeven movie, and man, the satire against corporate America is thick as fuck. In fact, they cast the same evil CEO from RoboCop. He plays evil CEO.
Is that right?
He works for Dick.
Don't we all? So what we've got here is essentially, you've got the world of Starship Troopers, that sort of hyper satire, sci-fi, outer space kind of thing. Well, this is basically Eternal Sunshine of the Spotless Mind, but in that world.
Ooh. Would you say Eternal Sunshine of the Spotless Mars?
Oh, that's a good one.
That is a good one.
Yeah.
If you know what you're looking for, there's a lot to unpack here. I really enjoy that it's one of the few movies that when you get done with it, you can walk away with something to think about other than the movie. You know what I mean?
No, absolutely. Like, it just has that really visceral way to show you, like, this is kind of ridiculous, but these are the rules we play by as a society. Thumbs up.
Okay, I can see that. Like, I've been having a little bit of trouble with this one. This was my first time seeing it, and I can tell I didn't like this movie as much as either one of you did. I didn't hate it. We'll get to that, but I don't know. There was just something, a little bit of something missing for me.
I think I know what it is.
What's that?
There's this weird dissonance between the clear world building about the immediate future and how people are dealing with technology, traveling to Mars, so on and so forth. And then the other side is fucking Arnold Schwarzenegger just chewing the scenery sometimes. Like, he's a great actor. I know a lot of people disagree with me on that, but he knows how to sell himself. And I think that's the dissonance, because, like, without Arnold, this movie could still exist, but with Arnold, this is an Arnold movie.
Exactly.
Yeah, you're right. And for what it's worth, I think Arnold is amazing at playing an Arnold character, which is what he is doing in this. I think because it is him, makes this character really pop off the screen. I'd be interested in seeing how this movie went with a more standard lead actor.
See, for me, I think it has to have Arnold, because that helps with, like you said, Eric, that dissonance, that is it real, isn't it real? Because when we first get to see Arnold and his, counter mindset of good Arnold, the I go to work at a fucking construction place Arnold. He doesn't do a lot, he's not outgoing, he's married, he just pays the bills. And then you get action Arnold, which helps with that is it real, isn't it real, for me.
Watching this movie critically, and I guess for the show if you want to call it that, is that, like, why pick Arnold of all people? But then I realized, like, this came out in 1990, I think, give or take. And this was in the time of his career where he's really trying to reach outside the box, where he's basically satirizing himself. I feel like he said yes to this because it kind of gave him like an introspective moment or something like that, to look at himself from afar and be like, you know what, maybe I don't have to be that serious. But this movie does call for a scene where Michael Ironside kind of gets smushed by an elevator, so yeah, you do you, Verhoeven.
Yeah, so at this point in his career, he's been through Terminator, hasn't quite made it to T2 yet, hasn't made it to Last Action Hero yet, so he's in that sweet spot still, where he can really do anything, it looks like.
But, he don't have to do that if he wants to have a Total Recall. I love that this is one of those movies that gets to squeeze it in, you know what I mean? Like, ooh, they did the thing.
Everyone points at the screen, he said it.
Yeah, and like the movie even tries to do that like snide thing where like the place he goes to is called Recall, but it's spelled like REK space ALL. Like, alright, I get it. You're like that off-brand,
but no, that location came before they made the movie, so it's really like the Hydrox of memory implantation locations or whatever.
The title's coincidental.
Right. Oh. So do we know what what year this is supposed to take place. Definitely the future ahead of 1990, but it doesn't seem like it's all that far in the future because they still haven't really landed on color TV especially well yet.
I kind of always thought movies like this take place in 20XX.
20.
Yes. 100%. And I love whenever you would have that in a movie. It would just say in the year 19XX or some shit like that, because then you can just make up whatever. It's in that genre.
It's just whenever. Don't worry about it. It's not important.
Bingo.
But what is important? That's the plot. And we've kind of went over it a little bit. So Arnold Schwarzenegger plays this guy. His name's Doug or some horse shit like that. Not anything to all the Dougs out there listening, but like you look at Arnold, you don't see Doug. He's kind of like in this like weird thing in his marriage where he's not quite happy, but kind of ho-hum. And there just happens to be this company called Recall that will implant false memories into your brain so you can have the sensation of living a fulfilled life, even if you're just like a 9-to-5 construction worker kind of guy.
Also, there's this little weird thing going on where every night it seems like he dreams this memory of Mars. Maybe memory, maybe it's just a dream, but he's on Mars, some shit happens, and there's this gorgeous brunette there, and he dreams of her every night. No idea who she is. Probably not important.
She's sleazy and demure, all at once. All for him.
Shout out to this movie for making me look up demure.
You were a real one for that. He's got all this going on, and he's like, I'm having a midlife crisis. Honey, you know what we should do? We should move to Mars. They're finding some weird shit up there. It seems like an exciting place to be. Evidently, there's some alien artifacts, or that's what the rumors are saying. Let's go to Mars. Let's do it. Let's go to Mars.
You hit the nail on the head because like Arnold is speaking to his wife like a boy trying to convince his parents to buy a toy. He's like, you don't understand. They have so many activities out there. Aliens, it has everything, And she's just like, man, I'm just gonna catch some Z's. And then Arnold's like, no, catch my D. It's like it is like ballsy of the movie to go straight to TNA after 5 minutes.
I like that she wakes up, gets mad that he's thinking about another woman. They have a temper tantrum, and it's all resolved because the D. Who could say no to that, man? Come on.
From what I heard, its diet is strictly blondes.
Oh, yeah. Eric, you said it made you look up the word demure. It introduced a word to me that I've remembered my entire life because of it. A schizoid embolism.
Schizoid embolism, yeah. They toss that around a little bit.
They keep using that word. I don't think they know what that word means.
Well, hell, not even fucking Wish.com Danny DeVito knew who it was. The dude he was working with at the Jackhammer facility or whatever.
The Jackhammer joint.
Yeah. Yeah. They make him and use him.
Yeah.
Oh, he's down at the quarry with like Fred Flintstone and Barney and shit.
We come home, I'm gonna show you how to make that bed rock. I don't know why I went with that
that's
voice.
actually really solid. Don't worry about it. I appreciate it.
It was good.
So he tells his buddy, like, hey, I saw a commercial for this recall place. Seems pretty cool. I don't really want to go on a vacation, but, like, I'd like to remember having been on a vacation. You tried it? He's like, hey, yeah, my buddy did that. He had to get a lobotomy, so probably don't go there.
Look, any place that has the risk of lobotomy as one of the side effects, and not just one of the side effects, but a fairly common side effect. Pass.
You have to hand it to his coworker, his colleague. Like, we all have that person we've worked with that's kind of like had our back, and that guy's like, listen, Arnold, a buddy of mine tried that and his whole asshole fell off. Don't do it.
Well, Arnold doesn't listen, so he's like, you know what? I'm gonna risk it. I don't care about my brain anyway. Let's see what this is all about. I want the deluxe package.
Yes, he wants to be Mr. Universe.
Oh.
We have to talk about this. Like, we know for a fact he gets it done, but his skepticism is just null, void.
Nope.
There's nothing. He just walks in all hard. He's like, tell me what you're going to do. What did you do with that guy who had his brain dead, huh? Fucking give it to me anyway.
And I love that, like, in my head, that impersonation was something that Will Sasso, as Arnold Schwarzenegger would say, and it works so perfectly because it is just that in the scene. He comes in, he grumbles, I don't care about being fucking brain dead. And he wants to be 007 on Mars with this lady that looks exactly like the lady who's been, in all of his dreams.
Yeah.
And there we get the introduction of, is it, isn't it?
At this point, I'm still sort of just like taking everything at face value. Just like, oh, that's a coincidence, but it probably isn't anything. We'll see.
Not to mention, like, this whole thing is just a character creator screen that he's doing right now.
Yeah.
Like, we just saw the prologue, and now we get to make our own character.
They're about to start Fallout.
Yeah, no, it's a character creation screen back on, like, Nintendo 64 where you had 6 options.
But it had a banging ass soundtrack.
Skin tone can be black or white.
Yeah, I was like, isn't there some stuff in between? I don't know, I heard it from a friend, right?
They got that little, you remember like in the creative characters when you wanted to pick the color, you had the slider of the hues and how much? Just that.
Yeah.
But none of these are skin tones. Nobody is that yellow.
Come here, Marge.
Oh.
Homie.
Oh my god, yes, he's like sleazy and demure, and then it's just Marge Simpson up there and he's like, yes.
Blue hair. More! More!
She is fantastic. After I'm done, I can use her to clean my ears.
So while he's down there in this machine, they give him a shot in the neck or something to what is it, a tranquilizer or whatever, before they get him in the big like brain machine thing, and he starts freaking out. This is when he has that, what'd you say, necrotic embolism or whatever.
Fluid embolism.
Whatever you said. He starts flipping out, and I don't know. This is when we definitely have that, like, all right, is he under? Is he just actually running back to his apartment? He runs into some guys who are chasing him, like, oh, you blabbed about Mars, and he's like, but I don't know anything about Mars.
At this point, you're fully convinced why they picked Arnold, because he just goes to full Arnold mode. Legitimately just sitting in that chair.
Oh, his eyes are all bugging out and his tongue's sticking out. He does that like 6 times in this movie, especially whenever like they do the outside Mars scene. And whenever that was happening, I immediately started laughing, looked at my wife, and I was like, baby, would you love me if we were on Mars and my eyes were bugging out?
Yeah, something we got to talk about is like the special effects, especially when and you said it happens multiple times. They do this like eyes bulging, like bugging out, like I'm losing my oxygen, I can't breathe kind of thing, I'm about to die. They do that several times and it always looks great.
It really does. And in fact, they showed, like, we spoke about Arnold's Nightmare, they show like right at the get-go. As soon as the movie starts, right when the movie ends, it's all there.
Those are bookends.
That's how all movies should start, with just someone sitting in the front, just bugging the fuck out, and then they end.
Yeah, but this movie starts like after he gets that cyber juiced from Lawnmower Man. He runs out of the place after making, I'll just say, a scene. And like you said, Chandler, some goons roll up like, well, actually those goons, one of them was his buddy that he worked with, not Danny DeVito.
Can I offer you a nice egg in this trying time?
Yeah, the guy that told him not to go there in the first place.
Well, in Arnold's confusion, he hurts everybody else besides himself, because suddenly, he's in like, suddenly his secret agent mode kicks in, his sleeper agent skills start ticking and whatnot, and he just like folds these poor dudes in half, and I'm pretty sure he murdered Danny DeVito.
He gave him a ring dinger, if you know what that is. One of those chiropractic neck adjustments.
Is this also the scene where they're going up the escalator and he starts using like an already shot body as like a shield?
Yeah, he does. Yeah. Those escalators actually get a lot of screen time. He runs up and down those quite a bit. It's hilarious because, like, not to go back again, but like as he was running down it the first time, he just had a gun open, brandishing it. And he's like, "Oh yeah, I should put that in my shirt." Yeah, people were looking at him.
He goes through the little X-ray and he's like sets that shit off with that gun. And I love that X-ray because like whenever I was growing up and I would see that, I thought that was top of the line shit. You know what I'm saying? Like in graphics. Mm-hmm. I was so impressed, and I watch it now, and I can genuinely say I still love it because it just now reminds me of like the Mortal Kombat X-ray.
I was going to say, if you didn't like it, there's something wrong with it because there's some weird CG that doesn't quite work anymore. But man, that X-ray when he jumps through, I don't know. It's extremely satisfying action. I don't know how else to explain it.
Yeah, it seems like when in this movie, when there's just like actual practical effects, it works really well. But when they actually have to use any kind of CG, it looks real dated. You can tell this was 1990 CGI.
It's used few and far between, but when it's there, you're just like, ick.
All right, so I got breaks some necks, walks away with a gun.
Arnold gets back to his house with Sharon Stone, and they have a domestic dispute.
Small words for a big scene, because she goes from just like, no, honey, you're crazy. Maybe you should talk to a therapist or something, to just like, yeah, you're fucking toast. Tries to kill him.
Fuck yeah, immediately tries to murder him, and he beats her ass. And I love her line. Don't you love me? What's going on? Look, dude, I just work here. And then she lights a cigarette.
So what we find out here is she's not his real wife. I never met you before 6 weeks ago. All of your memories are implanted. You were working for the agency on Mars, evidently. But you were the best assignment that I've ever had. Thank you for that D.
Signed, sincerely, Sharon Stone.
Right.
Yeah, just gonna toss that under the door as it closes. Hilarious. Yeah. but on the other side of the argument, Arnold dispatches her pretty quickly, and he's like, "I consider this a divorce," and he laughs for like 30 minutes. I swear, watch the movie.
I can just picture you rewinding it just again and again every time he laughs.
Yeah, it's a goof, but yeah, like he takes care of the situation. Mind you, this is after some dude walks in. He's just like, "By the way, Mr. Doug," totally not Arnold Schwarzenegger, "this is a dream, and I'm going to convince you otherwise." Nah, just kidding. You're going to kill me too.
I don't even remember how he gets it, but he gets like a video of himself, and it's like, hey, get this suitcase from this other guy and go to this other place. What's going on here? He eventually gets to Mars.
That's a hop, skip, and jump.
Yeah, honestly, for me, the difference in how much I care about this movie is massive between before Mars and once we get to Mars. This movie is so much cooler once we eventually get to Mars.
Okay. So this is what happens. He gets a secret briefcase, and inside is actually video of himself from the past, the real him, telling him what to do. He's a little poshy, a bit of an asshole, but you know what? Still Arnold. Don't worry about it. He pulls a weird thing out of his nose, and he puts it in a Mars bar. Pun intended. And he gets the fuck to Mars.
Okay. So whenever he grabs that thing out of his nose, no shit, I was probably like 14. I found this thing called a pickle extractor. It was at Walmart.
I've come for your pickles.
And whenever you put it on the plunger, just like a little syringe, out of the bottom would come these 4 metal claw prongs. And I was like, oh man, it's just like that thing Arnold shoved up his nose. And I bought it just because of that.
And before that, the only pickle extractor in this movie was Sharon Stone.
Oh.
Nice.
So the only other thing I have in my notes before we get to Mars is that, damn, in 1990, I guess they thought the future of the world would be made with brutalist Soviet architecture, because it is everywhere. I'm kind of into it.
I think that's just Mr. Verhoeven's way of being like, everything's going to be a communist dictatorship or some weird shit. And so you get to see it kind of vibing into there.
It's gray.
Yeah, everything's just super simplified. It's gray or red. Where are you? Gray. Where you want to go? Red. Okay, red. Second half of movie. Let's go.
I like that. Well, that's not all that changes, because think about it. He went from gray to red, because now that he's on Mars, he's dressed as a woman with a red wig.
Oh, good point. And how long would this lady like to spend on Mars?
2 weeks.
2 weeks.
But are you carrying any food or beverage in your bag?
2 weeks.
Something weird here, man.
I'm going to guess he only paid for like the 2 weeks ringtone on that specific model of person.
Either that, or he like knowingly spent just a little less because he didn't want to spend that much on the good model.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Honestly, in this scene, I get Men in Black vibes. Like it just looks like one of the early aliens in like the very first scene. That's got like, who is that? Benicio del Toro or something.
The border guard just like, so, Mr. Not Schwarzenegger, what's in your bag? Got any food? He's just like, sugar in water.
In water.
Water.
So the bad guys know that he's gone to Mars, and they find him immediately. They're like, well, that big lady looks kind of weird. We don't have big ladies on Mars.
That 7 foot, 300-pound woman flexing her gigantic 27-inch arms to pass a visa across the table doesn't seem suspicious. I'm here for 2 weeks.
And the scene is so short, you could actually just do without it, but everything is equally impressive as it is ridiculous. You can't cut it out.
That's fair, I guess. Yeah, like, it's a cute scene.
Yeah, like, for some reason, I know they spent fucking forever building that lady mask, you know?
Yeah.
It almost feels like if you have the right tools, you can get anything done.
Oh, okay. I get what you're doing.
Try.
Nah, leave it. Now that dry January is over, I've got myself a big boy. This is Parabola, the 2023 edition from Firestone Walker. This is a 13.5% alcohol by volume, bourbon barrel aged Russian Imperial Stout. Whew. So this is a heavy boy, oily, dark black with a nice little foamy tan head on top. It is thick. It is heavy. This is a powerful beer. Ooh, got a little bit on my mustache. But it is good. It's not overly sweet, super roasty, super caramelly. I mean, I don't know what I can say. This is a damn good beer. It's hard to really mess up something that's 13.5% with this much flavor, though.
Well, you know what else is really hard to mess up? The red light district on a red fucking planet.
Oh my god. Okay. Because my girl, 3 Scoops, she's got something going on.
3 scoops. Get out of town.
Oh, yeah. You know, I'd seen this reference before, and I think I'd probably seen, like, still images before, but nothing prepared me for the bitch that got 3 titties.
Nothing from... Look, listen, it's either that or nothing prepared you for 5 kids with the 3 titties. You know who I'm talking about.
Oh, dude, yeah. Man, I got 5 kids to feed.
Makes me wish I had 3 hands.
Well, I thought you were going to say something that'll at least take care of 60% of them.
Right?
Now I'm just thinking like Chandler's mustache with the beer in it, but it's from one of the 3 titties because 2 have milk, the other one is just on tap.
Yeah, I just end up being like one of those mid-90s Got Milk commercials.
All the while, Arnold just trying to play detective in the background. It all works. I like all this.
This is one of my literal favorite scenes, just because Arnold comes in and he delivers one of the best fucking one-liners just as an insult. So there is a mutant and he's got like this disfigured, almost like a vagina running down the center of his face and like a stretched ball sack over it.
Yeah, it's rough.
And he's like, hey, you got a lot of nerve showing your face around here. And Arnold Schwarzenegger looks at him with the, 8 inches of height difference, gazes down at him and smiles and delivers, look who's talking, and just walks away at that.
Look who's talking. Just to note, that man with the vagina face, Dean Norris. Once again, Hank Schrader's showing up here.
Yeah, Pussyface Hank is back again. We get to run into him and his friends.
Oh, goddamn it, it's Pussyface Hank and the boys.
Yeah, all right, just for context, Arnold gets like a little bit of a clue to a person that he might have known before he got his memory erased, and she like heads a brothel on Mars, and that's where we wind up. We see all these colorful characters.
Yeah, it's a colorful brothel because this place is known as the last resort.
Cut his life into pieces?
Oh.
Yep, there's
definitely suffocation. No breathing. He doesn't give a fuck.
Oh!
Yes.
Oh!
Yes.
Foreshadowing.
Oh,
yeah.
One of the fucking choruses have to be like, you got what you want at Cohagen. Now give those people ear.
So through this part of the movie, this reminds me a little bit more of Blade Runner. I get a little bit more Blade Runner vibes. I mean,
Yeah.
they're both based on stories by Philip K. Dick, so that makes sense. I also get a lot of Futurama vibes just because there's like an assortment of mutants that they're more or less humans, but they all have like something weird wrong with them. Like our taxi driver guy with the 5 kids, He ends up having like a tentacle arm or something.
Oh, that was probably the roughest one. Not Pussyface Hank. It's because when he whipped out both left and right Twixes, I was just like, no thanks.
Oh.
I see it, man. I got 5 kids to feed.
Fellas, y'all ever fuck a mutant?
Listen,
Well,
Just curious. I don't know.
I actually had the discussion with the wife whenever the dwarf woman appeared on screen. I just looked at her and said, hey, I would.
I'm right there with you. I mean, to be fair, I'm also like 5'4", so the height difference isn't that significant, but she's a cutie. I'd pick her up and put her in my pocket.
Plus, you're on Mars, and I hear the rules are really lax.
You can do anything.
Even starting a rebellion against the corporate America of Mars. So corporate Mars?
I don't understand the dynamics of like the economic situation here. So is Mars like just America's domain, or is there some kind of agreement? Like, are there treaties involved? Seems like there'd have to be.
Well, I guess the economy's like this. They have like a mining kind of symbiotic relationship where they kind of have to mine the resources to exist on Mars. So whatever, they've kind of capitalized on the whole thing so that we're like, they can only mine just enough to get by and maybe a little then some. So the whole shtick is that halfway through the movie, evil CEO man and Michael Ironside, they find this big, like, ancient device that would just basically melt the ice caps and provide oxygen for the whole planet, negating their entire grip on the community and the mining operation, meaning no money, no bueno.
Yeah, so it's supposed to be like this ancient nuclear reactor or something? Am I understanding that right?
Correct.
Yeah. And all you need is a regular old human hand throwing up the Vader sign to turn it on.
It's time!
Yes.
An odd choice, because everything else seems so thought out. And there's like the hand button, just like man hand.
How you turn it on? There was a Vader dude. Fucking make it like that. No one knows what. Because he calls himself the Mastodon. They thought it looked something completely different.
Yeah. Just give him the Spock. I don't know what that means.
Oh.
Yes, this one's called Live a Long Time, I guess.
Yeah, I guess.
A long time, I guess.
I don't know where we are right now, but Melina, who is the girl that he went to see at the horror spot, she's like, "Oh, get out of here, fuck off." And then he fucks off, and then she's like, "Well, I guess you're probably telling the truth. I better come save you with this minigun."
Yeah. We run into Benny, the taxi driver guy, or whatever. We find out he's a mutant.
5 kids to be.
And this whole spiel, this whole like little chase between Michael Ironside and the gang is to get Arnold to this guy named Kuato. And allegedly, from what I've learned, is that Kuato might be a mutant too.
Yeah, I don't know what's going on here anymore. Everything is just like a questionable, like, is this real? Is this a part of his package? Did he pay for this? Like, he wanted to be like a secret agent on Mars. Now he's on Mars being a secret agent. You got it.
He's got to save the world, and he's going to do it by hanging out with Louis Anderson's Siamese twin.
Oh.
What are the odds? We're going to have to do a special round. The number one answer is up on the board. Let's do it.
I actually have him down as Peter Boyle. He looked like a big Peter Boyle sticking out of this guy's chest.
Yeah, it's definitely a boil down there.
Yeah. That's what Kuato actually is. He's like a Siamese baby.
What are they called? Like a sympathetic twin or parasitic twin?
Parasitic.
Right.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. And he's just like, Quaid, open your mind. I'm totally not Chucky.
Yeah, he's a milk Chucky. Oh.
Yeah, that looks like a good guy doll.
I fucking love it. But he's gross. He's so fucking gross.
Yeah.
And somebody in between takes has a fucking water bottle spritzing that son of a bitch above it. Like, they are.
Nah. That's baby oil. That gives you the most sheen.
Oh,
Not very expensive, and it gets everywhere on its own.
Yes. He's like, Kuato, come here. I see you're using vegetable oil. I'm going to switch you over to a new dietitian's approved oil. This is my own oil. It's called Arnold's oil. I'll grease you up like I grease up my pump.
I like avocado oil. Has a higher smoke point.
And there's probably a conversation like, well, Arnold, that sounds like a bunch of snake oil. He's like, oh, no, that's for the blondes.
So during all this time, the big bad guy was like, you know what we're going to do? We're going to shut off all the air to the people up top because fuck them, right? That's why?
100% fuck him.
Yeah.
Because, no, fuck him. That's all it comes down to, because like they quarantine the area because they think Arnold's still there. He's, he just escaped, just barely. But they're just like, what do we got to lose? Just kill him. Whatever.
Well, they're already planning an uprising, so why not just snuff him out now? It's almost like two birds, one stone.
He's made it down into the tunnels at this point, so he's out of that. Down there with Bebop and Rocksteady. That's got to be what's coming in on those things, right?
And he says, "Screw you, Benny."
Yeah. This movie has like a ton of one-liners. It's just absolutely insane. In fact, this is one of the best examples because they fit. They're not shoehorned in, and Arnold always has that moment where he just kind of like looks over his shoulder and says them.
Oh, it's fucking classic.
I kind of like them a little bit more when they're shoehorned in because they feel like a little bit more tongue-in-cheek, It feels like they're a little bit more like, I don't know what I'm saying. Like, it feels a little bit more bad, so that makes me like them more.
So, like, when Sharon Stone's like, what do you feed that thing? He's like, baby Bobby Bumper. Fucking whatever from Last Action Hero.
Didn't expect me to say that, did you? Total Recall.
Now, it sounds like we're having a bit of a Arnold party over here, but there's another party on Mars that Richter definitely has to get to.
All right. They have to get into this big battle with Arnold and stuff. He's got his tech and this other shit. He's got a hologram, and that's what makes it special. So now we get this cool firefight where Arnold is fighting Mars police or something, maybe? Doesn't matter. He starts gunning them down using a hologram, and they actually corner him. And he's like, oh no, they're going to shoot me. He goes, I bet you thought you got the right Quaid, didn't you? And they go, oh shit, it's the hologram. And they all turn around, and he shoots them, and he goes, you were right.
Which is great because they're all dead.
Yes. It was for him. It was for us.
I'll tell you, I knew as soon as I first saw that hologram, like his little thing, I was like, that's going to come back. That's going to be like at the very end. I know it. That's Chekhov's hologram.
Oh, nice. Beautiful. And you're totally right. After that, like, really fun shindig with the bad guys, Michael Ironside rolls up. He's like, Arnold, you fucking hunk. you can't turn this thing on.
You did it. It turns out that was the plan all along. You did it.
It does seem a little odd, right? Because this movie does juggle the idea of it being a dream or not. And, like, right at the end, just so happened Michael Ironside's there just before the big baddie. And he, like, after he dispatches him hilariously, he walks in. And then CEO Man just there in the room ready with his monologue.
Sure.
That's classic. I mean, that's trope. You have to have that. He's got to be ready to deliver.
It is kind of silly because, like, that particular CEO guy didn't take the opportunity to just kind of, like, lean real hard and be like, Mr. Schwarzenegger, are you down with OCP?
Yeah, you know me. That's not an Arnold voice. I'm terrible at this.
You sounded like the Cookie Monster, and I loved it.
Now I'm just thinking of the Cookie Monster's eyes bugging out of Mars.
C is for Cookie. His eyes are just like big shit. Okay, but anyways, you're talking about the OCP reference with Dick Jones. I was going to lose my shit if he would have just knocked him off and it just did a hard cut of like Mars Valley 200 feet below, and it was that bad claymation puppet from RoboCop falling.
Oh, with the extra long arms. But that's kind of how it ends. So, like, Arnold puts his man hand in the alien hand hole. It works. Don't worry about it.
Yeah.
Everything gets turned on, but not before they're, like, exploded into the surface of Mars. And we get to see that scene we've spoken about a couple times, where it's just like, Melina and Arnold, they get thrown out, and they're just like, and it's just, that's like the last 5 minutes of the movie.
But think about that. If your parents were in the other room, and all they're hearing is the end of Total Recall, they're going to have questions.
Oh. It's going to be a hard tuck, but Mom, I have to feed a blonde.
Oh.
I've got that he rips Richter's arms off at some point, but I don't remember that.
No, totally take out the fact that it was because of an elevator. Arnold just like with his bare hands tore another man's bare hands off his shoulders.
Yep. You no longer have the right to bear arms.
Or the ability. Fucking Arnold over there just like hashing out justice on Mars. I love it.
Yep.
Now, the movie ends, and of course, air has been filled to Mars, and you get to end the film with the question in your head, was it what he paid for, or was it real? And that, to me, is what makes this movie special, because I'm going to say that it was definitely in his head, and he's going to get lobotomized.
Oh, okay. Well, in my eyes, I always thought that Keith David was the thing.
Yeah.
Man, what wasn't Keith David in this?
Oh, I know it's pretty good. But I didn't take it out for air.
Oh, okay, I'll be honest. Like, I told you earlier, like, my opinion on the end of this movie is a little bit of a cold take. And that cold take is like, I don't care. It doesn't matter to me because, like, this adventure was so ridiculous. And it was so fun because of Arnold. I was just like, you know what? I don't care if he dreamt it or not. I had a good time.
So I kind of wish that this movie focused more on like the storytelling aspect and not it being like a fun satirical action flick. Like I wanted more of a Blade Runner, and I think it's so close. I think the story is so close, but instead they went more Starship Troopers, RoboCop, and that's fine. But I feel like of all the thousands of movies that are being remade in Hollywood today, this one's pretty ripe for it, honestly. Throw some 2024 CGI and Ryan Gosling in here, and I'm in.
Next week, we'll do Total Recall with Colin Farrell. Well, there you have it. That was Total Recall from 1990. If you have any strong feelings about the movie or the show, leave it in that comment section below.
Make sure you hit the like and subscribe buttons. Be sure to bash the bell icon or whatever you got so you don't miss what we have brewing up next.
Get out there and follow us on social medias. We got all of it, y'all. We're even on YouTube, and you can find us anywhere podcasts are available.
Get your ass on the podcast.
Get your ass to Mars.
Get your ass to Mars.